Hi, this is Adele, and I'm so excited that I'm going to go over this wonderful list that I put together of my 12 favorite tools. And every artist uses different things that they like to work with. And so I just kind of take it for granted. I use this for this, I use that for that. But several people, well, actually, lots of people have asked me, what are your favorite tools? So I put together a list and I'm going to read from it so I don't forget them. I kept adding, at first I put 10 and then I put, oh, there's 11. Oh, now there's 12. And there are lots more, but these are my top 12 tools. So if you're interested, even after I go through this is a free download below. So make sure you click it to get everything. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one, and we're going to go around the table like this. And I'm going to tell you what they are and how I use them. So the first one is a trowel. And this is just a regular trowel that I get at a hardware store. And I usually have different sizes. This is a little big. I work with a lot of large canvases, but if you're going to work smaller or have smaller little areas, you might want a smaller one. And what I use this for is if I put a big glob of paint, say this is a canvas, or even if it's a big watercolor paper, if I put a little bit of or a lot of paint on my palette and I just move it around like that and I move it on the canvas like this, it gives a really interesting organic shape. And so I use it that way. I also use it to push back, I say push back, or to kind of make something integrate into the area, the space, and the colors around it. Like if I have this vibrant blue and I love the blue and I want to keep the blue, but I don't want it to jump out at you like it's a neon sign. Well, what I do is on my palette, I mix a color, usually, a neutral or something or whatever's around it. And I go with it, I scrape this across the palette really carefully, very slowly, and pick up a tiny bit of the color. And then sometimes I even just tap this off on a paper towel first so it's not too much. And then I slide over it like this, just slightly, or you can just pat it like this. But that's how I use this trowel. I love hardware stores. So that's the first one. The second one I use all the time is my resource binder. Now this is something that I put together and that I show in my membership course, Art with Adele. We have put together lots and lots of resources. So I like things that are really organized because I can just go to them quickly. I know just where they are to get inspiration and to get ideas. And this one holds 6 different ideas that I've made. Some of them, and I'll just show you briefly. So you see, some of them are in, and I put them in sheet protectors, so it's really easy to go through. These are just color combinations made from paint swatches from the paint store. And I have a whole video in Art with Adele that shows you just how to do it. And then we have an exercise around it. And these are, I also have color combinations where we cut out of magazines and put on the idea sheet. And then these I just kind of put together. These are like a grouping from magazines of colors and patterns just to give me ideas for, like, if I don't have any idea what I want to do in a painting, I can open this resource binder and go through that. That's another section. I also add again, this is like just tearing for fun stuff, just going through magazines and tearing out colors that you like. And I like one page sometimes with all just different reds, and one page with all different blues, or black and white patterns. I love black and white patterns. So it just gives me, again, ideas. Let's see what else is in here. Then I have something that is just go through and put on an index card. And mark making that we do. We save all the mark makings that we do in Art with Adele and put them on in here. So, and then these are other things that I use to decide what my next step is in a painting if I get stuck. And we do that in here. So there are lots of these. So look at all the things they keep. That keeps it in here. And then the last one, and this one, is just patterns. I just printed out a ton of different patterns. So if I'm looking for inspiration in any of these areas, and of course I have several of these binders with totally different things in it. So resource binder, I couldn't live without this. So that's this one. Now the third one are these. Now I'm going to show you actually what they look like in a store to purchase, and then the ones that I've used. These are Bondo spreaders, and they're in a hardware store. I'm not sure exactly what they're used for, but I found them, and they're 3 sizes. And let me show you. They come in 3s, and here are, I use them constantly. They're just out of plastic. They have a large, medium, and small. And you can wipe things off. You can use these if you put paint on here. You can spread them like this. I also use them for collage. If I'm gluing something down, I put it, I use these to spread it out to make them flat. So there's so many ways, and I usually have like buy 3 or 4 of these when you find them. Just buy 3 or 4 of these. They're fabulous. So that's these, the Bondo spreaders. The next thing are, one of my favorite things are these restaurant trays. These are large restaurant trays. I just get black ones from Amazon. And I keep all my collage papers in them. And I have different colors in each one. Like, you can keep adding to it, but like these are, not this one, say, but this is green. So all the greens I have for collage papers. Here you go. I have a whole black and white one of all different kinds, whether it's torn papers, whether it's mark making that I do on deli paper, or even acrylic skins. Anytime I'm thinking I want to use black and white in my painting, I just pull this out and look through it. And they also stack up really easily like this, but you can also put them like that. So I have those. I love those. Let's see what the next one is. Restaurant trays. Let's see. Oh, my China markers. Here are my China markers. I usually use black or white, although they do have them in red and yellow. Red and yellow. They might have other colors, I'm not sure. But mostly I just use these. I use the black a lot. These are just grease pencils. So you can go over them with watercolor. You can go over them with just any kind of acrylic and water, and they won't run. But I do these kind of mark makings all the time in my art. So black on white, and then I use the white when I'm doing a black or a dark area, a dark value. You can go over with any kind of writing. And these, just to show you, some people get confused. This is how you don't sharpen this. You sharpen it by pulling this tab down, this white little rope, and then you unscrew it like this, and it just goes around and around and around. So you don't even need a sharpener. You just keep going like this, and it'll come up. Let me see. I might as well finish this. There you go. There you go. Okay, so there's that. And then we have, let's see, China markers. Oh, my spray bottle. Well, now these, I have several different spray bottles because for lots of different reasons. If you're have a piece on a painting, some color, and you might want some drips or just a little bit, you can just, when it's wet, you just spray this on there and it just makes the drips. Another way I use this most of the time is I use a paper palette, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, and then my acrylics can dry out quickly. So I'm kind of throughout the day or a couple hours, into it, I just spray these and mist them with water, and it keeps them fresh. Okay, so the next thing is, let me move some of these in here so I can show you. After the spritzer, oh, a palette knife. Now, I know there are lots of palette knives. I use this one. This is a plastic one that they have at the art supply store, and these are just 3 of mine. Okay, I have like 15 of them. I love these. They're great for mixing paints, mixing colors on your palette, but also if you want to just spread on your canvas or what have you, and you just spread it flat, or if you want to make marks, it's a good mark making tool. If you just draw it on like that. So I use these all the time. And so I just like the shape of it. I never found these in too many places. I never see hardly anybody using them, but it's the only one I use. So the palette knife, then saran wrap. I think that's the next one, saran wrap. I got to put these aside to show you. Saran wrap, I love, love, love. And the reason, this is how I use it. Well, and I'm going to demonstrate a little bit because I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow on it, just say like this, and a little bit of maybe red. And I use a gray palette. Because they have white and gray, and I love the gray because it's the mid-tone value. So you can see, look at this, you can just see how light this is in comparison if you're talking about, or if you're trying to do different things with value. So say you're doing this. What I do for this is, with the saran wrap, is I pull it out. I use it kind of like making prints. So I'll pull a long piece out and just tear it off and then put it down here lightly. I just kind of let it fly, and then I just lightly press on here. Depending, you can press hard if you want, but I do this first and then pull it up and then pull it around and then just put it on here. Voila. Now, the other way I use this is the saran wrap is at the end of the day, or when I'm finished painting, or even if I'm going to take a break for a long time, I will actually spritz the paints, the acrylics, and then take a long piece of that and then just put it on the top. So that's what I use that for. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to put this aside and this aside and move into, what are the next things? Plastic wrap. Oh, squeeze bottle. These squeeze bottles, I just get blank ones. These are 8 ounces, and I use a lot of gloss gel. I mean, gloss medium, and it's the liquid kind. And so I just pour I get a huge thing of it because I use so much of it, and I just pour it in here, and I just put gloss. So I just can go like that, and then pour it out on my palette just like that, and I have 2 or 3 of these in gloss. I also have 1 or several in matte. Sometimes I use matte, but not nearly as much as gloss. So instead of using the huge container, and you save money by buying a large one and then putting them into smaller containers. So that's what I use for this. And what's the next thing? Let's see, squeeze bottle. Oh, large Post-its, which is this. I know this sounds crazy, but I love this big thing. It also, if you pull it off, it's a Post-it. So if I yank this off, there's a adhesive underneath here, and it will tack right onto the wall. So you could have, like, if you're doing a brainstorming session or planning ideas, you could put a couple of these on, just stick them on the wall, and just start writing things out. You could also, kind of use it as a sketch sample, kind of like a journal, but they're big. I love them big. So you could say, a lot of times I'll go Monday, that's what I'm gonna do, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I actually use these for every week. I put down the whole week and put down exactly what we're gonna do for the week, so I know. But I use them for a lot of different things. This size is, what size is this? 25 inch by 30 inch. But anyway, I love it. So, okay, let's see what's next. The next one is these brushes. Now, I typically have always used these inexpensive chip brushes. That's not these, but the ones that you just get at the hardware store, like the paint store. But all the bristles come out and they just get totally worn out. And they show a lot of the brush strokes. So I got these, they're really inexpensive. This is a pack and I buy 5 or 6 packs at a time. And this pack comes with 3 different ones. It's 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch. And I use this size a lot. They also have a variety of smaller brush shapes and round ones and really fine ones. So I get a whole bunch of them. And you can tell these are the ones that I use. And they are very soft. They don't show the brush stroke nearly as much as the other ones. Well used. So this is my other go-to all the time. Let's see, we only have 1 more, and this is the best. The best. It's this make. It's Richeson's palette paper. Now they have it, this is the 9x12, but they also have a larger one. And I really use both sizes. But what I love about this, and it comes in white and gray. I love the gray. I told you before that I like the gray because it has the value. You can tell the values, but this is another secret reason. Look at this. If you open this up, and this only comes with the gray. On the other side, you get an enormous amount of information. Look at this. This information, I cut these out. I tear this whole thing out and cut it up. This is a whole value scale. Here is the color wheel. And inside here even are lots of different ways they tell you how to make certain other colors. And here is just a complementary colors for this color, and it tells you the value of each one. I mean, amazing. So you only get this with the gray palette on Richeson. So this was a find, and I only buy this. So I think that's it. I think this is all of my favorite tools. There are lots more, but these are the top of the pile I use all the time. So 2 things I want to tell you. I really hope you press below and get this for you. And you might want to try a couple of these, see what works for you. And if you have any interest and you want to learn more about the Art with Adele membership, there's a link below because I would love to have you join. We have a lot of members who are very active and they are growing like crazy as an artist and having a good time. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next video.